Are you ready?
Ready.
Sure you're ready?
No.
No. Yogi clan, welcome back to Yogi's Cycle Service. I am here with none other than Mrs. Yogi. I'm starting a new thing on Wednesdays. We're going to talk about Wazzup Wednesday. It's a new Wednesday thing I got going on.
Sounds cool.
Didn't tell you about that.
No.
New videos I'm going to be doing on Wednesday. So for this first Wazzup Wednesday, wanted to come to you with Mrs. Yogi and talk about a video we did last week together that we put out, and both her and I have been sharing like crazy on our personal pages about us hosting. And who are we hosting?
We are hoping to host a sibling group of 4 kids. There are a total of 5, but only 4 of them are going to be eligible to come for the Christmas season. And they are siblings who live in an Eastern European country, and they have lived in their orphanage for about 9 years.
So how did we find out about these kids? Like, connect the dots on how are we hosting them?
Well, I am one of the coordinators for Open Hearts and Homes. And Open Hearts and Homes was started several years ago by 3 different people who live on the East Coast, and they decided that they wanted to have a Christian hosting organization. And so since their inception, they have helped to bring over hundreds of children each season, both at Christmas time and also in the summertime, from places like Ukraine and Latvia. And they bring them here to America for about 5 weeks. It'll be 4 weeks this year though. And they bring them over in hopes of them being able to have a wonderful time being loved on by a Christian family.
And that's Open Hearts and Homes. And really anybody anywhere in the continental U.S. can host a kid, or how's that work?
Almost. We have grown exponentially in the past several years. The really only big requirement to whether or not you can host is if we have a coordinator, somebody like me, who lives within an hour to 2 hours driving distance from your family. We do, like I say, have coordinators up and down the East Coast. We are also now out in the Midwest, Ohio, and also Texas. So chances are you live someplace where we will be flying children into and where we will have a coordinator somewhere nearby.
So just because you host these kids, does that mean you're committed to adopting them?
No, actually, Open Hearts and Homes really does not even really like to talk about adoption. We are not an adoption agency. We are a hosting agency only. And so what that means is our main goal is to bring those children here, like I said, for summer or for Christmas, to show them the love of the Lord and the love of a family, and basically get them out of their orphanage for a time where they can come and spend some time relaxing and just being kids. There are families who, after hosting, do decide to pursue the children that they hosted, but there's lots of different things and pieces of information that need to be found out first. Some of the children aren't even available for adoption. If parents do turn out to be interested in hosting, we do have agencies that we can point you towards, but that is never our main goal.
So how much does it cost to host a kid?
Hosting is $2,800 per child. That usually covers the cost of their visas, their medical appointments, and also their airfare. Oftentimes we are blessed with scholarships from a variety of different sources. And so if you are, let's say, hosting a sibling group like we're doing this year, a lot of times those sibling groups are granted scholarships from different sources.
So the kids come, they land at the airport, we meet them at the airport along with the other host families, and then you get a family picture taken. That way they can report back to the orphanage, to their boarding school, that, hey, these kids have arrived, they're safely with their families, and then you go home. And then what?
Well, you spend the next 4 or 5 weeks enjoying each other and hopefully acclimating them into your family like you would do with your other children. Christmas season is a really special time to be able to host because, as we all know, there's oftentimes lots of family traditions that are going on, lots of activities, the hustle and bustle of the Christmas season. There's usually a lot to do. So I know, for example, our family really enjoys going over to McAdenville to see the Christmas lights, so we'll do that this year. We enjoy doing things like decorating Christmas cookies. So I'm sure we'll probably do things like that this year. And also we do a Secret Santa exchange. So we'll include those children in along with the rest of our children when we do those types of things. So really just kind of, doing things like you normally would. You do not have to feel like you have to be on the go all the time though. Some families really enjoy being go, go, go. Some families just kind of take it easy, and that's okay too.
So, what made you / us get this deep into all this stuff? How did we get here?
Well, I think it started back when you and I first started dating in college, and I had mentioned that one of the things I was personally interested in was eventually adopting. We started out doing that by going through foster care, and then eventually found our way into the world of international adoption. And then during that time of being in the world of international adoption, I ended up meeting a very good friend, about 6-7 years ago now, named Michelle Ziner. And she is one of the coordinators here in North Carolina for Open Hearts and Homes. And so one thing led to another, and we ended up getting involved with hosting through OHHC, and that ended up resulting in the adoption of our daughter, Emerson. And then thereafter, I just really wanted to stay involved with the organization because I thought it was so very worthwhile. And so I signed on as a volunteer coordinator.
I'm out of questions, I think.
One of the questions that people ask a lot is whether or not the kids can speak English. I was very fortunate to be able to set up a table.
Let me ask you the question.
Why can't I just say it?
Fine.
I was fortunate to be able to set up a table this weekend at our church.
What's the question? Oh, can the kids speak English?
Yeah, I already said it.
Oh, sorry.
I was fortunate enough to be able to set up a table this weekend at our church. And that was a question that I actually got quite frequently. And it ends up being a question we also get a lot at training, because we also will have a one-day training period for all families that decide to sign on to be a host family, so that you don't go into this completely unprepared. We really do try to give you a lot of information. But usually we're asked, are those kids able to speak English? And the answer is usually no. They might have a little bit of English because they are taught some in their orphanage, and they might have a good working understanding of the alphabet and some simple words, but usually they do not speak fluent English, and so Google Translate really becomes your friend. But you would be very surprised. It ends up to be kind of a non-issue. Everybody's usually able to communicate fairly well. People like us are fortunate enough to have kids in our family who do speak Russian and can translate for us, but that's not the case for the vast majority of families that host.
Yeah, and Yogi tip of the week, if you do wind up hosting and you do use Google Translate, keep it simple. You know the acronym KISS, keep it simple, stupid? Don't use flowery words in your sentence. Keep it really basic and really simple. It'll translate much more accurately.
True.
So for us and for our family, at $2,800 a kid, do any of these kids come with scholarships? I think we kind of talked about that before.
Some do. It really just depends on the season and how much money OHHC has been granted as to how many scholarships we're able to put on the children. I do know that there are some kids that are still in our photo listing right now that have not been yet chosen by families, and they do have scholarships on them, yes.
But the 4 that we're looking at hosting did not have any scholarships.
They did not.
So that is all going to be out of pocket. So last week we put out the video saying, help, we need help. We need to raise some funds. And on that, in that video, I said I was going to do a GoFundMe site. We scratched that out because actually through Open Hearts and Homes, they have their own place where you can donate the money straight to them. And it is tax deductible because it's a 501c3 organization. So instead of sending it to GoFundMe, you can send it straight to Open Homes. That way the money, never touches our hands. It just goes from you to Open Hearts and Homes. And how far did we get in the goal last week?
Well, we were very fortunate. We were blessed by some really terrific people who granted us a total of $5,000 in 2 days.
Yeah. So almost 50% of the goal in 2 days, but we still have 50% to go, and that's kind of the reason why we're making this video for Wazzup Wednesday. What other questions do you frequently get asked that we haven't covered?
Well, some of the basic tidbits of information are the kids that we are bringing over this season are going to range in age from 7 to 13 years old. We do have single kids, like I mentioned, and also sibling groups. We are looking at them arriving probably on December 18th because that is a Saturday, and returning January 15th because that's a Saturday as well. Coordinators like myself travel over to Ukraine and get the kids and bring them back, and then bring them into the various airports to the families like you all who are standing there waiting for them. We just kind of ask that while they're here, obviously, besides having loads of fun together, you're going to provide for their basic needs. So food, clothing, shelter. They basically come with maybe a backpack and the clothes on their back. Not often do they come with very many things because obviously orphanages are pretty poor. So from the time they get here, you get them their toiletries, their pajamas, some shoes, maybe a nice warm winter coat for them to bring back. But the most important thing that we're looking for is for families to love on these children. It's a pretty lonely existence when you do not have family that loves you and you're living all by yourself in an orphanage. And especially, like I said, for the kids that we're hosting, they've been there for 9 long years. And unfortunately, that's not uncommon. And so we are just looking for families that are really looking to do what we like to call an at-home mission trip. A lot of families go on mission trips, but you know what? Especially with the state of the way things are in the world right now, maybe that's not feasible for you. So this is a great way to bring the mission trip home to you, and a great way for you to show the love of the Lord to some kids who really just need to be poured into, if just for just a season.
What's your most memorable experience from hosting?
Oh goodness, we have a lot. Really, honestly, I would say overall, and it's not just one experience, it's been several, it's seeing the way that the children transform from the time that they arrive until the time that they leave. Oftentimes when the kids arrive, like I know I would be, they're very shut down, they're very scared, they don't really know who you are or what this whole experience is going to be like. And seeing them just open up and be able to explore the world and have some joy for those weeks and really just get to be a kid, and sending them back and seeing that there is a light in their eyes that maybe there was not before, that usually is what does it for me.
Yeah, and there's usually a lot of tears.
Oh yes.
On the day that the kids fly back.
We always say that arrival day is one of the 2 best days of the year, and then of course departure day is one of the 2 worst.
When those kids arrive, they're usually pretty worn out, aren't they?
It's a very long trip from Ukraine to get here. From
their orphanage just to the airport.
Yes, because
Can be a long trip.
there are orphanages scattered all around Ukraine, and when coordinators like myself go over and do the interviews, we separate out into different regions, and we travel for a week driving all over the country. So these kids are going to do the same thing when they are coming here to America. They're going to leave from their orphanage. They're probably going to take a bus. Probably take that bus to the train station, take the train into Kyiv, and then get on a flight. Usually it'll go through Munich, it might go through Istanbul, and then they'll go on to another connecting flight, and then they'll land either here in Charlotte or JFK, depending upon where they're being hosted. So yeah, it's a pretty long, rigorous trip.
They could be traveling for 24, 36 hours.
Could be.
And then by the time you get to America, there's a 7-hour difference.
Yes.
So you're half wired from excitement, but exhausted from the travel and the time difference. So it usually takes 2, 3, 4 days for kids to kind of work their way in and kind of settle their way in.
Yep, and get adjusted. Yeah. We're just looking for families that are willing to step out and just really take a chance and love on some kids. We're not looking for a forever commitment. We're just looking for 4 weeks. And also one of the things we like to say when we do train is anybody can do anything for 4 weeks. You can do it. So even if it ends up being a little bit difficult or maybe a little bit different than what you expected, all of us can do something for 4 weeks.
Or you could donate to us so we can do it for 4 weeks. Tax deductible donation in the comments below. This is something that has been heavy on her heart since we met. But she has traveled and supported me in everything and anything that I've ever done. This is my way that I can support her and her dreams and her mission, and together we have combined it into our family's mission. And really, it's all hands on deck in the family. Our biological kids, our adoptive kids, everybody enjoys this host period for the most part, and especially during Christmas. And it's just a lot of fun. It gives us a fun holiday season every year that we get to share with some kids, even if they don't become a forever part of our family. Just knowing that we touch somebody and touch somebody's life. We've heard back from many of the kids that we've hosted on different Instagram or on Facebook, and still keep in contact with many of the kids that we've hosted. And they keep us up to speed on what's going on in life and what's happening. So we definitely know we made an impact. And we're really hoping that with these 4 kids that come to us this year, we can do the same thing with them. But we really need your support in order to be able to do that.
And one other thing I just thought of, that's another question I get asked all the time too. Well, not all the time, but I've gotten asked several times. How can you send these kids back? Isn't it worse to kind of bring them here and then after they've experienced a family, send them back? And the answer that I have to that is that all of these kids, I can say, see their lives changed in a very positive way through the hosting experience. And that's why we do it. Even there are kids that do not want to be adopted or cannot be adopted, and hosting still changes their life. They do stay in touch with families like us. We can kind of be mamas and daddies from afar and still pour into them and give them encouragement and kind of counsel them like a parent would. And also just having that time where they are integrated into a family. It might be their very first time of ever thinking that anyone in this world truly cares about them, that anyone really cares whether they exist or not. And so to us, that is very, very important for these children to know that somebody in this world loves them. And so that's why we do it. That's why we host.
Awesome. Great words. Thank you for your time and your interview.
Absolutely.
You want to close us out?
How do I do that?
Oh, you say thank you.
Oh, well, thanks.
Goodbye.
Thanks
Peace.
for coming to the Yogi channel, and thanks for listening to us, and thank you to everyone who has donated, and thank you to everyone who's considering donating. And like I know he said in his last video, it's not going towards us. It is going towards changing the lives of these children. So we do appreciate any help that we have gotten. It's truly a blessing to be able to do this every season. We look forward to it, and we really are just as blessed in doing it as we hope that the children are. So thanks for watching, and like he says, peace out.